Hi, and welcome to Gen Friends. Well, you know what we're doing. We're talking about relative race. So on the panel today is Cheri O'Connell, and she's the executive director of the In-Depth Genealogist. Hi.
Hey, Cheri, I see that you're very prepared tonight. You got your relative race t-shirt on.
And my bracelets, and they're in no particular order. No particular order. And we have Mary Kircher-Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hi, Mary.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, like I said, we're going to be, we are big relative race fans, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Big relative race fans. So, we are going to be talking about day two and all the shenanigans that happened with day two. A lot of tears, near tears, a lot of Kleenexes pulled out of the box. So, I think this was a very emotional night, and I think it helped us get to know a little bit the team members a little bit better. And get going with them. And so, anybody want to start with the team?
Well, I think it helped the team members get to know themselves a little bit better, particularly Blue Team. Mr. Blue was just all about the race. And
exactly.
He was not paying attention to the first star, but tonight in the second episode,
right,
he just had a 180, and he discovered his father's cousin who was raised like a sister to his father, and that just it suddenly became about family to him.
Team. Yeah, that was the red team.
Oh,
it's okay. It's okay. That was the red team. The blue team.
That's right.
His name.
A cousin, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. What his surname was. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to picture it, but So he discovered his name, and I mean, he said, it was about the race before, and now it's about the family. And
and you could tell that it was about the race because they were doing that trash talk. Blue team and green team, they were just going at each other. Yeah, we said we were going to buy you dinner because we're going to be at day 10 and we're going to buy you dinner if you're not there. Just a lot of trash talking going on. But I think that they're doing that, but it's in the spirit of the game. I don't think one of the teams really doesn't like the other teams or anything like that. I think it's a competition as well. Yeah. And as they get to know each other, I think a lot, because the green team was laughing and then the blue team was laughing. So I think they're all good people, and it's just a spirit of fun. So
right.
And as they're texting each other as they're leaving to go to their next cities, Team Black decides they need to come up with a new hashtag. So I think the funniest one he came up with was big hair,
don't care.
Big hair, don't care. Yeah, I thought that was hysterical. Yeah, and another one was Team Black rules, Team Blue drools, or something like that. So they're just really funny. I loved when they left their cousin's house. He took Polaroid pictures.
Yes.
And he's decorating the car with them. So everywhere he goes, he's going to take pictures and decorate the car. And then he made gifts for his relatives. And he has keys, and he etched in on them. So they've got family written on these keys for them to have. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to do, to leave something with these relatives. Cool. Yeah. So he still had a little bit of trouble driving that car. I'm not sure what's going on. In the show.
He has trouble with a few things, but
he has trouble with a few things. But he's so much fun.
It's all the product.
Yeah.
It's all the product. It's all the product. Yes, he's sniffing that product, going, I can't drive the car. Or it's heavy on his head. I don't know. So, let's go ahead and continue on with Team Black. So they end up at a cousin's, and this is a particularly interesting set of cousins. Mary, you found some really interesting information about the people that he met. So why don't you go ahead and talk to us about that?
So they met their cousin, and their cousin's grandfather and their grandfather were brothers.
Brother and sister, I think, or something.
Brother and sister. Anyway,
they were siblings.
Yeah, they were siblings. And they had been in a band in West Virginia. And the name of the band, now it got out of my head.
Buzzardtown Tongue Twisters.
That's right. Yeah. Buzzardtown Tongue Twisters.
Buzzardtown Tongue Twisters. And,
what a name.
Yeah. And when I hear these things, I just immediately okay, I gotta pause it, go to Google and see if I can find it. And I did right away. And there's pictures of the band, and the Black team got to hear. They'd never met their grandfather. He died before they were born, but they got to hear some of his music, and that was so cool. And there's this whole website that's devoted to this, or a blog has posts on it that's devoted to this band that their grandfather was in, and just really interesting. And
it was fabulous, and not just listening to the band. It was their grandfather singing.
Yeah.
So they actually got to hear his voice, and they had never met him. And so there were tears the way they were looking at each other, like, I can't believe this is our grandfather, and we can hear him singing.
Yeah.
Just amazing, because they weren't expecting, I think, as they took this journey, to be really surprised. I think they were just saying, we just want to meet everybody that we can meet.
Yeah.
We just want to make connections. And so I think this really surprised them, that they were able to connect in such a way with their grandfather.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. I hope you're keeping lots of notes, because just with that meeting, the films they can make.
Oh, yeah, because that's what they do. They're filmmakers.
Yeah,
absolutely. Before we go on to another team, I wanted to talk about the challenge that they all had to do. Because once again, we sat here, we really did. We sat with my family thinking, how could we make this work for a family reunion? And so what they had to do was, number one, they had catapults, and everybody's going, where do you get a catapult? Amazon has catapults, apparently. So they had to run up, and they had to build the catapult. And then once that was put together, they had to launch, one of them had to launch a water balloon to the other who had a water bucket on their head. And then they had to dump that water into a tube. And so once they got it to a certain line,
by tipping their head.
Yes, by tipping their head. Once they got to a certain line, then they were done with the challenge. So
they had to switch. They had to switch shooter and catcher too. Yeah.
But let me tell you, none of the teams could get their act together for quite a while. They were going over their heads. They couldn't catch them. They just couldn't get that aim right. And at one point, Joe actually hit his sister in the nose.
I know. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and the mom and me came out. And it's just like, oh, this is an accident waiting to happen. Someone is just going to get plastered in the face, and
especially with a catapult.
Check somebody's eye out.
That's so funny, because you went the mom route and I went the competitor route, and I thought, these ladies are doing it all backwards, letting the man catapult that water balloon first, because I'd have been like, you said what today?
That's too funny. So we thought what we could do is, instead of doing a catapult, we could just have people throw them, and they can catch them on their heads, and then have something to, so it'd be a little less. I don't want building people. I don't want anybody getting hurt while we're doing this. But that was fun. That was a really fun game. But a lot of them really struggled trying to get that water into those balls. But it seems like then they got a rhythm. They started getting that rhythm, and they had some really great shots of the water coming in. It's like they were shooting from the bottom of the bowl on their head, and the water coming in. I thought they did a really great job of filming that challenge. But I thought that was really fun. Yet again, another one to write down to say, hey, we can do this at a reunion.
Yeah, it really was a fun one.
That was really fun. So we talked about Team Black. How about Team Green? Ooh, Team Green.
That was a sad story.
You want to go with that one, Cheri?
Sure. So Precious and her husband met Precious's aunt, which was her mother's sister. And come to find out, it was so hard. She's like, I have so many questions. And she started asking about her mom. Is she married? Is she? And her aunt stopped her right away and told her that she had passed. And she'd passed like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was really the only information we were given. Nothing about, why.
Well, they said she had a massive heart attack.
Well, for how she died, but they didn't talk about why.
Why she was in foster care.
Right.
Why was she adopted, or did she even get I don't even know if she got adopted. I know she was in foster care.
Yeah, she did. Well, I think she was like 7 or something. She was adopted. I believe they said when she was about 7. And that was from the day one, I believe they said that. And so, yeah, there was no explanation as to that. So, but just the look on her face.
To see her, and just as soon as she said she passed, she like she just lost it, and you just felt so bad. I mean, you can even see her husband was like, "What do I do?" All like cradled into the aunt, and he like finally sits down, and it was rubbing her back, and just feel that it was such a awkward, sad moment.
Because you got to know that she had hopes. I mean, they all come into this with hopes, even when they know that they would be older, and there's a good chance that perhaps they may not be around. They've all got hopes that they're still alive and they can meet them. So crushing.
As sad as it is, she's a beautiful young woman, and she does look a lot like her mother.
Yeah, she has a picture now, so that's a plus.
She has a picture. She knows what she looks like.
And she has an aunt.
Has this aunt. And the aunt wasn't just there to tell her story. She's like, "Do you have kids, and how many kids?" So I think we see the beginning of how that's going to go. That aunt is definitely going to want to be involved.
Exactly.
The unfortunate thing was, though, the aunt didn't have information on her father.
Right. So that maybe in an upcoming day, she might, find somebody on her father's side.
I'm hoping so.
Well, at least she can put some closure to that and have some answers, And that's what she wants. So, but yeah, that was really touching for her to, just heartbreaking really to, it's just so sad to hear that, she's passed.
Yeah.
So no hope, of getting to know her. But, her aunt can tell her, she can tell her stories and she can get to know her mom through her sister.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So moving on to another touching story was the red team. And we kind of got mixed up with the blue team in the beginning.
You go ahead and take the red team.
It's okay. Because I mess them up all the time. But so the red team, well, number one, they didn't have such a fun time driving to their destination. There was a lot of, Dad? And he says, "Quit lecturing me." She goes, "I'm not lecturing you. I'm fussing at you." And I thought, yeah, they're from South Carolina. She's fussing at him. So she was trying so hard to get him just to ask directions, but he was worried that they would get a penalty if he violated some kind of traffic law. She keeps saying, "We're all down the window. We're at a stop sign. There's nobody around us except for the person next to us. Ask them how to get on this road." And so he finally did it, but it took a lot of driving. "Well, I know you're driving, but just let me drive." "Well, Daddy, I know you're driving." "You keep telling me you're the one driving." It just went back and forth and back and forth.
They were funny to watch. But, and I'm thinking a lot of people are probably thinking, yeah, there'd be me and my dad trying to, go through this, or me and my mom, or my sister, or whatever. Even a good friend, that'd be us. Because I'm sure the stress gets to you. So. And who knows how much sleep they'd have the night before. Right.
They finally got to their destination, and they met Michael's. She would be his aunt, right? Am I right? His aunt.
It's a cousin.
It was cousin, but she called herself her aunt cousin.
Like an
That's
aunt,
right.
yeah,
Like an aunt. It was because she was raised with his father.
Yeah. As siblings.
So, as siblings, and so she called herself his auntie cousin, and then he called her his auntie mom towards the end of the show. So she showed him all these pictures, and she was saying that it's like there's 250 descendants or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing family. All these people now that that he gets to meet, and I'm sure we can't meet all the 250, by day 10, but hopefully we'll meet a good chunk of them. So. But, and he was saying the same kind of thing, is that he's going to get to know his dad through her, because she can tell him all the stories, And it sounds like there's a lot of good stories, even though, there's a tragic ending to his life.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of good stories. And so that was just touching, to be able to see that he is going to get to know his father by somebody who knew him so well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, well, I remember him from when I was a kid or something like that. This is somebody that grew up with him. And so a lot of pictures and a lot of stories, and a lot of things that they're going to be able to share. And then, of course, Austin, the daughter, is going to be able to tell her, and benefit from all that too, and all the new cousins that she's going to be able to meet. So that was.
I think I like that most when we're doing these siblings or parent-child. It's not whose side are you on. You're all connected.
You're all connected.
So it's just as emotionally touching for the other person.
Exactly. I agree. Because, some of them, like with the green team, you're waiting to see who's relative, like you said, And when it's siblings or
but with the parent and child, it could have been her mom's side.
That's true.
That's very true.
Didn't necessarily think about that, but
but I was thinking with made that connection because I was thinking about black team is like everybody is both of your relatives. But with
that's true. Team, good point. Good point. We're just focused. I think we're so focused on Michael's story. We're just assuming that it's all going to be. It's all going to be, and maybe it will. Who knows? That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting if it does turn about to be somebody on Austin's mom's side. That will be interesting. So I hope there's no bad blood between the two families because the dad's gonna be like, I'm sure there's not. Yeah. Then let's go ahead and go to have we gotten everybody? Did we do everybody?
We covered all the teams.
We covered all. I was thinking we hadn't covered blue, but we did cover blue. Yeah. We did cover blue, and I just love the fact that he mellowed, as you were talking about at the beginning. He really saw the benefit of this. Besides,
he went from intense to mush.
Intense to mush. Tears. You would have never thought you would have seen those tears, but yeah. So
then they won. Yeah, they were the first place team. So
right. Yeah, we get to the Skype, and I'm telling you, I'm loving these Skype calls because they're just really connecting with each other and crying for each other and
Dan needed the Kleenex tonight.
Dan was emotional. And the one thing for we've been able to talk to Dan on Gen Friends, and that's true emotion from him. That's not faked for the show. He's really touched by their stories. He's just as touched as we are, and and they are. The stories make him cry too. So I just really love that they're sharing pictures and stories, and they're weeping for each other, or cheering for each other. So I really like that. So yes, we had a winner in Team Blue, which Team Green didn't like. They're like, of all the teams, why did it have to be Team Blue? And so, of course, when you win, you get to choose between the next day benefit, which was 15 minutes penalty for another team, or the day 10. And I was so shocked that it was different. It wasn't a flag.
Okay, so I actually was trying to think, so what's going on? And I have a little theory. We'll see if it pans out.
What's your theory?
So it was a chicken.
Yes.
Or rooster. Yeah. It looked very much to me like a sports mascot. And the first thing was a flag. And the opening was at the stadium. I think that they're going to do some big sport thing for that.
I'm wondering too, because I had the same thing. I had the same thing with that chicken rooster thing. I thought that was like a mascot. Like what
and I almost Googled who's got a rooster mascot.
Let me tell you something funny, because when I watch it, some of the team members are tweeting live, and I tweet, and Joe said, "Hey, I hope this is not like the fuzzy dice."
Fuzzy dice, that's hysterical.
Remember the fuzzy dice from what season? 2, 3? But they got the fuzzy dice, and it meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing. And so I told him, I was still very bitter about that. Even all these other seasons, I'm still bitter about that one. So I guess there's always that option. But it'll be so. We're going to have to keep with your theory, Mary, and we're just going to have to keep track of everything they get and see if you've called it. Yeah, and you probably have. You probably have.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and we're trying to put, we're going to get 10 pieces and see if we can figure out that picture. So after 2 pictures, I'm saying stadium.
I was Googling.
She's Googling. All right, you Google it. Let us know.
South Carolina has one that looks like Foghorn Leghorn.
Yes,
That's what that
the
looked
Gamecock.
like.
So it could be.
Yeah.
It could be. I'm gonna have to zoom in on it and see, but yeah, it could be. Surprisingly, the team that came in second was Team Black. And they were shocked. They were absolutely shocked that they came in second place. I thought those were really cute, their reactions. So then we had to wait and see which team came in last. And unfortunately, it was Team Red. And I think really
they knew.
Yeah, they knew, and we knew. It just took them so long driving around, and I can't even imagine what the conversation probably was. Just listen to me, and if you just ask directions.
We heard Austin at the end. She said something will change.
Yeah.
I hope. And a little clue to that is their blogs for this week. If you go to BYUtv.org and you pull up the show, you'll see links for their blogs, their video logs that they do, and they've obviously recorded them starting out on day 3. And guess who's driving? It's not Daddy. It's not Daddy.
You're just like a man. He can't stop and ask for help.
Exactly. I mean, you can't fault him for that. That's just normal, natural behavior. But hey, you're on a race and every minute counts. So funny. So, yeah, so I would encourage everybody to go and watch those vlogs. They're pretty good. They just kind of talk about some of their feelings from the previous day, and they can't give away anything where they're going or whatever for the next day, but it's just kind of a little extra little thing to watch, for those of us that's so addicted and we can't wait till the next week. I think that's the hardest thing, is having to wait the week and watch it. Yeah. So I know some people that I've talked to about the show. They've started from season 1 and they're binging. And they don't want to watch the season until.
That's funny. You can watch out of order. It's not going to hurt you.
No, you're not going to watch out of order. You can watch out of order, but I guess they don't want to. They don't want to have to wait for the season. They just want to watch it all at the end because they don't want to wait in between. So I just think that's funny, and I think it's great that the show has become such a big hit that they're doing more than one. Season, and a little hint is that season 5 is getting ready to start filming.
Awesome,
huh? So yeah, so I'm excited. And we talked about to Dan, how are we gonna find people and how are you gonna beat previous seasons? But I think that you can do it. I mean, these stories that we've got on day 2. Look what we found already. Look what they found for them on day 2.
As long as you throw in an adoption case or the family services case, like you're going to get that emotion.
You are going to get that emotion, but you've got to balance it out too with teams like
fun kids and
they're fun, and so it's going to be the whole. I think this whole next week for how many? Well, they had 10 days, so the next part of the season is just going to keep us crying and keep us on the edge of our seats, and I hope that it'll be like last season and it's down to the wire before somebody gets 3 strikes. I hope that nobody gets boom, 3 strikes and leaves, even though they get all the information and they'll be able to meet their relatives. We won't see it. We won't know who they met. We won't know who they found, and so I know it's been suggested a couple of times to do some kind of follow-up show so that we know that kind of stuff. Who did they meet? And did you notice that when Team Green left their relatives, they said, we'll see you in 2. So they're already planning on coming back.
Yeah.
And they've probably already done it. They've probably already done it at this point. So they've probably already, all the teams have probably gone back to visit those people that they met. So anybody else got anything that they wanted to share or that they
I just want to say, I think that Blue Team really got the profound moment of the show with, I learned my family name.
I agree.
Now, I never thought about that. Never, how does that affect someone?
Yeah.
But when he said that, I was like, oh, how, that not knowing, that must have been very hard. Your whole life, you're a grown man and you have no real clue. I mean, obviously we know there are ways he could have found out. There were DNA tests and, you could look. That's beside the point. But just to think that hit home, that made it, I guess, more real for me to sit back and look at it from a different angle.
now, because of the DNA matches and the family tree that his cousin showed him, he said, you know, I've got these people to choose from. One of these people is my father. And so, you know, working through it, I'm hoping the show found him, but if not.
Or Mary, have you already done that?
Well,
yeah, Mary has done that.
I did want to say, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but one of the things that I thought was kind of odd was it wasn't an ancestry family tree.
You're right, it wasn't.
And
it wasn't. I wonder if that was a. I wonder what tree it was, because I was looking at it thinking, is that from one of the software programs? I don't know. Wasn't it? It wasn't Family Search, unless it's a new chart that I have not seen it done in that way.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but it looked a little like a Brand X DNA company. I guess I won't say which.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. Okay. So maybe it was a DNA. Yeah, maybe it was a DNA company.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Yeah. But it struck me that that's not an ancestry chart.
I noticed it too. I thought the same thing. Yeah. I wonder what they're using for that. So so I just didn't know if it was something that maybe he had created somehow, or
it could be. Yeah, but
you know, or something, I don't know, created for them to show. You know, I don't know. But that's really interesting.
Well, especially if they're not getting funding from the other company.
Well, but his cousin it looked like he had done it a few years ago and found his own relative. So he might have tested first with a different company and also tested with Ancestry. So it may be.
And maybe that's why we don't know what it was, because they didn't show any kind of logo, because they're not going to show a logo for a company that's not
giving them the money.
Giving them the money. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anything else? I just thought it was a great night. It helped me to get to know the teams a little bit more, help them get to know and bond with each other as they see the dynamics of what they're finding.
Yeah.
It gives, and they're giving it, and it's compassion for each other that really showed in that Skype call that maybe they weren't seeing before. So, there's nothing wrong with a little friendly rivalry going on with the blue and the green team, but I think it touched them to see who they found and how important it was and what that meant for each team. So, and the race continues, ladies. On to day 3.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, so we could talk about day 2. And I guess we will, and we'll have the links that we talked about, especially to the band. We're going to add that link. So if y'all want to go and look at that blog post that Mary found, we'll have that link for you, so you can go and look at that and find a little bit more about Team Black's grandpa and his band. So with that, I want to say bye, and we'll see you next time for day 3 of Relative Race. Bye.
Bye.